for learning, for learning together. It's very important if you want to grow up, we have to set aside a time. We have to take a time for this growing. Thank you very much. That's all right. So let's start. And today we are going to talk a very important topic, that is Introduction to International Moot Court. Maybe I'm going to speak to you things that you already know, but you are going to learn, you are going to hear from my lens, from my experience, structured in research, in academic way. So I'm going to share some slides, PPT, and afterwards I send it to Mr. Akshay to send to you too. That's all right. So let me share here my screen. Please, would you mind to permit I share? Thank you. Thank you so much. So here we go. Introduction to International Moot Court. As you all know, I'm the international arbitrator. I have already participated in many arbitrations around the world. And we're going to talk about this moot court. Oh, sometimes people call the mock trial too. What the moot court, you all know. I believe you all know. But I'd like to bring here my point of view. Its international moot court is a simulated court proceeding that is conducted in a competitive setting, also named mock trial. Typically involves law students from different countries. And the purpose of the international moot court is to provide law students with this great and a very, very great opportunity to develop their advocacy skills, soft and hard skills, including the spirit of legal research, writing, and the most important of all, oral argumentation in a simulated international legal setting. It's very important to understand that I'm going to talk more about the argumentation. Argumentation is something very, very important. And I believe that is 7% of success in a moot court competition. And what does it cover? What is involved in an international moot court? Typically, a hypothetical legal dispute that's based on international law. Also, sometimes it involves private international law in dispute with pure international law. We have the pure theory of law by Hans Kelsen that speak about that. And also it involves human rights law, human rights treaties, trade law, international humanitarian law. Normally, it's covering these three important subjects. And in these, law students are tasked with the researching and preparing written submission on behalf of the parties and total dispute. And at this moment, you presented their argument in a simulated court setting before a panel of judge. People that when we are in this moment, we have to understand the importance of to understand the mind of the legislator, the mind of the judge, and the mind of the law itself. This is the most important. Always when I am in a court, when I'm in a watching these, attending these as a judge, the moot court, for me it's very important when the mooter, the speaker, they know exactly what kind of argument she is using. Okay, let's go. Let's go ahead. What is the language we speak in this moot court? When I'm talking about international, so can you speak Spanish, Italian? Yes, you can. French? Yes, you can. German? Yes, you can. However, they are typically conducted by English language in English language because of the word organization, and it is the primary language of international law. When you're talking about the contract, when you're talking about MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, NDA, POA, or any other thing, we are specifically talking about English language when it's concerning to international law. They provide us an excellent opportunity for law students to gain, after all, practical experience and exposure to different legal systems and cultures, while also building their professional network. This is very important. When you're talking about international advocacy, it's important to have a network because we are going to understand the cross-cultural law and cross-cultural development. You make a connection and you create it's important that you participate in the communities, legal community, international communities. This is very, very, very important. I understand. And in the vocabulary, maybe you think, oh, Jean Carlos, you are speaking to us basic things. Yes. If you do not know exactly the basic it is, if you don't know exactly what's the basic, you never know about the advanced, because everything starts from the base, the ground. For example, vocabulary, come on, simple one, multi-proposition, memorial, speaker, counsel, companion, researcher, rebuttal, sub-rebuttal, petitioner, respondent, and mooter. The basic, but have someone like some other ones like this. Others very common. Also, we have the plaintiff, part who brings the legal action of files to the lawsuit. Defendant, you already know that. Jurisdiction. The jurisdiction is the way, the authority of the court that's going to say what's the right to decide. Precedent, because we have in all moot court, we have to hear this brief or memorial. Somebody called brief, someone calls memorial. And you need to understand the president and a legal decision. So we have to understand this. Oral argument, the most important for me is not only when you write, because paper research cannot convince. What really convinces are words. The way you speak. Aristotle says that when we are in a court or when you are talking to somebody else, firstly, you have to appeal for his emotion, her emotion. Secondly, you have to appeal for his feeling, sensibility. And the third and the last, appeal for his or her intelligence. If you start provoking in the person, in the judge, provoking. His intelligence, you have, from my experience, 99% to fail in your argument. So you have also another vocabulary, appellate court, a court that reveals decision made by lower courts. International law, that's the body of law that governs relations between nations, among nations, international organization, and you have to understand this. And now the most important for me, the most valuable treat, it's an agreement. Remember, treat is the gender, but you have the types of treats that we talk about the international law. It's an agreement between nations that is binding under international law. Human rights, you all know the basic rights and freedoms to which all human beings are entitled. The right to life, liberty, and equality for the law. We all born with all these rights. The structure of the moot court, that's why I'm talking here, it's introduction to international moot court. The team, we have the speaker one, speaker two, and one of the very, very important personality, the researcher. But remember, don't only let the researcher to be overloaded of work. No, help her, help him too, her, him, help. So these are the three most important in the moot court. Speaker one, speaker two, and the researcher. There's this structure of, and you can ask me, Giancarlo Dal Bianco, Professor, and this structure that you are showing now is the same for every moot court. Maybe some universities, maybe some organization change. They add, but hardly they are going to take it off. They can add, but hardly they are going to take off. This is the structure of a moot court and received all the information. And now phases, we call phases or rounds. Yes, rounds, phases, steps. I have already participated in one that said steps. Preliminary, you all know, semi-final, quarters, and the final. It's like you are climbing a staircase, or climbing stairs. Primary, semi-final, quarters, and the final. And these round, these phase must be very carefully understood. Because in each phase, you are going, each round, you are going to have a behavior. You are going to act differently. The preliminary round for me is the most important, because in this moment that you open, you have to cause impact in your speech, to cause impact. That's why I think that's so important to have a public speech. Public speech is very important. Have a very good public speech to convince, to motivate them, sensibilize them, to enchant. That's why. Remember, in a moot court as well as in a real court, people they are not interested in law. Common people, the Jews, not interested in law. They are interested in the history I used to say, he who tell the best, the beautiful and the best history can win. You must be convincing. But Shankar said the law is important, but the mind of the judge, if you can read his or her mind with all your power, believe you are going to convince them. Preliminary. So I'm going to tell you each part of this. What to wait for all these in the round of the moot court. Teams, all the teams are expected to present a very well researched. I understand that you are, the most of you are students of law and still and do not have the I would say the practice to research yet, but you are training, you are growing up. Tomorrow, when you are graduated, you're going to go to a master degree, a doctorate degree, so you're going to see that's a little bit different. But you need to present a very well researched and well reasoned legal argument. That because if I tell something, I have to show, I have to prove that I'm right, because my words, your words as a muter they have no value. My words have no value. It's not what you say in the court, but what you can prove. It's not what you say. Oh, I say so. You say, but you can prove. If you say you can't prove, your argument worth nothing. So remember this station. It's not about what you say in the court, but what you can prove in the court. They must also exhibit good I told you, local oral advocacy skills, including the ability to communicate effectively, clearly, and persuasively, and respond to questions in logical and articulate manner. Ultimately, the team with the highest score from the judge and the final round is declared the winner of the moot court competition. Yeah, so very important. If I tell you, if you follow these steps I'm telling you right now, even though it's being basic, I'm quite sure that you will succeed in your next moot international moot competition. And now the sequence of speaking. Sometimes people say, who's going to speak? Speaker one, speaker two, who's going? It is important for the moot court competitors to understand the order of speaking and to prepare the argument accordingly. Competitors should also be familiar with the competition rules. It's very important. Receive the competition rule. For example, here is the competition rule. I have to read, join my team, and discuss each point, to listen to different point of view. Hermeneutics is very important too. Interpretation, law interpretation is very important too. Competitors familiar rules, guidelines regarding the time limits and other procedural matters. Because sometimes we receive, no, I understand everything. I have been already participating in many minutes. No, every moot court, there is each one small difference. Take a look, observe. If you have any question, ask the committee of the moot court organization to understand if it's really clear the way you understand. Very important. Next, I'm going to tell you the order that that of speaking. First, speaker for the appellant and plaintiff. I've been number two, first speaker for the respondent or defendant. Okay. Well, first and first, appellant, plaintiff, respondent. Gonna be the second now, second speaker, appellant, respondent, the second way. The third speaker, appellant, plaintiff, 30. I now have a rebuttal by the first speaker for the appellant, and this is the sequence. Can it be changed? Well, I have never seen. I have never seen before. I have to follow this. This is the order you are going to follow. Next. Now let's understand every preliminary round. I know you know, but I just want to reinforce. Each team competes preliminary round. I told you the most important. Each team competes in several simulated curves, hearing against the other team. The teams are usually randomly assigned to compete against each other, and each team argues both the plaintiff and the defendant's sides of the hypothetical case. And in this moment, the judge evaluates the teams based on their legal argument, oral presentation, and the adherence to the courtroom etiquette. Very, very, very important. These 3 points: legal argument, oral presentation, and courtroom etiquette. Remember, I told you oral presentation. When you are going to start, firstly, say your name. Say your name. Address. Greet the judge. Greet 30. Greet the organization. Tell the importance of what we're going to talk. And if you can, listen to this tip. Start with a citation. It's very important. In public speech, we learn this. So, like this. Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon. Good evening, good morning. And say, choose one of the judge and say, I greet Mr. the judge, Akshay Jared, and greeting him, I share with all you my greetings. Remember, you choose one person and greet. Don't say, on behalf of, don't say that. Don't say, I greet Mr. Akshay, and I share my greetings to all judge in this moot. I congratulate the organization of this moot competition. It's a pleasure being here for me. I'm very honored being here. And I would like to start with a citation of, and to say Aristotle, Plato, and so on. This is the schedule. If you do this, if you make like I'm telling you right now, oh my, people are going to say, wow, he's very good. I used to say that when I make these, people are very, wow, perplexity, very well. And so each team competes. This one, the preliminary. Finish this. Now we are going to the quarter round. The top performing teams from the preliminary round, remember, advanced to the quarterfinals. In this round, the teams compete in a similar format as in the preliminary rounds, with the winners advances to the semifinals. Same way you gotta compete. Remember, now you know better the argument of your adversary. Remember, it's very important. Sometimes we are in this competition, in kind of court, we need to be sometime like a shield, another time like an arrow. Don't be arrow all the time. Sometimes protect yourself to understand what's going on. Sometimes the best defense is not the attack, but to defend yourself. Now we're going to this semi-final round. The remaining teams compete the semi-final, which typically a more competitive round. The teams may be assigned to argue either the plaintiff or the defendant side of a hypothetical case. The judge evaluates the team based on the quality, listen to, quality of their legal argument, but legal argument full of oral speech, or full of public speech, effectively. Their oral presentation, their ability to respond to questions from the judge if the case is necessary. Go ahead. So here the final round. The winner is the top two teams, the top two teams from the semi-final advances to the finals. The final round is typically the most intense and competitive, where this is the place where the argument must be very, very convincing. The team argue both the plaintiff and the defendant sides of the hypothetical case, and the judge evaluates them based on, listen to, final round. The judge evaluates based on legal arguments, their oral presentation, and their ability to respond to challenge question. Remember, before was only question, now it's challenge question from the judge. Sometimes the judge likes to make a pressure to see. For example, I like to ask sometimes, I ask, you have this argument. However, I'd like to understand, where is your for example, ad rem argument? In the ad rem argument, I attack the words, I attack the argument. Sometimes you are in the ad baculum argument. You need to understand this. And sometimes when I'm in this moot court competition, I see many people speaking for speaking. We needed to understand what is the right argument I'm going to use among so many arguments. But if we understand, for example, do not use ad baculum argument to menace, let the judge understand. And now, memorial. What is it? Memorial. It's a written document that presents a team's legal arguments and support their position and support their opinion. As a matter of fact, I don't like this word position. I don't know why I write here. I like to say the word opinion. Because position, I'm talking about geography, topography. Position like opinion on a hypothetical case. Memorials are also sometimes referred to, as I told you, as a briefs or written submission. Some authors refer to calls written submission. And then we go to what must it contain? Sorry. What must it contain? I'm sorry. Here I am. What must it contain? not much, but the memorial typically includes a detailed analysis of relevant legal issues, as well as an argument explaining why the team opinion is correct based on legal precedent and other legal authorities. Remember, what you say there's no value, but what you can prove based on authorities argument. Because we have these we call authority argument. The memorial must also study relevant cases and legal authorities to support the team argument. It must follow the competition formatting and citation guideline. Sometimes when make this the content, the citation is not correct. You can lose point because of that. Yes, believe you can lose point because of that. Sometimes, yes, Professor, that's why I wrote here. How many memorials? I know you know. But in most wood good competition, each team is required to submit 2 memorials. No, it's only one, sometimes 2. One for the plaintiff side, in the case one of the defendant side. The memorials are usually submitted before the oral argument phase, like this competition. And are used by the judge to evaluate the quality of the team's legal argument and research. You understand the kind of research, the credibility of the research, and it's very important. Remember, by telling you here the basic, yeah, believe you or not. And the structure of a memorial, does it count? Yes, it counts a lot. The structure of a memorial in a moot competition typically follows a specific format, and it is designed to present a team's legal argument in a clear and organized way, organized manner. Organization or organizations, everything. The more organized, the more chance you have to succeed. Note, it is important for teams to follow the format and citation guidelines provided by the competition when preparing the memorial, because I told you some organization, they have different guidelines. And because I have to follow this, because it helps you to ensure that the memorials are organized, easy to read, and consistent with the requirement of the competition. You can make a beautiful, very, very beautiful memorial, but if it's not constant with the competition and the requirement of the competition, it will not prosper. You will not have what really want. Let me tell you in order the elements of a memorial. This order is almost universal. It's almost universal. Elements of memorial. Maybe you know, but some just to remember. Cover page, table of contents, statement of facts, issues presented, summary of argument, conclusion. Now I come the list of authorities and signatures. Remember, please follow these exactly like this. But it's very, very hardly to have a change from university or organization. Follow these, please, and you'll be well succeed. You have all this, but I'm going to tell you each point of this. Okay, let's go to understand better each element. Cover page. The cover page typically includes the name of the competition, the name of the team, the names of the team's member, and the title of the memorial. Something, remember, by the cover, we are interested in its what's inside. By the cover, we are more excited to read a book. People say, do not judge a book by its cover. Well, it was in my time. Today, with the visual appellation, visual appeal, my God, you see a beautiful book, page, cover page, the same is with the memorial. Make something organized, very well organized. So this is the cover page. Now comes the table of contents. The table of contents provides a detailed outline, very detailed, of the section and subsections in the memorial. Now it comes the statement of facts. This word facts for me is very interesting because people say, against facts, there's no argument. Yes, people say that. But it depends on what kind of fact. There's no argument for whom, to whom. For me, if the fact is mine, there's no argument. But the fact is yours, there are arguments. The statements of facts provide a brief summary of the hypothetical case and the relevant facts that are necessary to understand the legal issues involved. So we call the statement facts. It's very, make a brief, do not write a lot, but not write a lot, but a brief, very brief summary. Have now issues presented. Issues presented identify the legal issues that the team will be addressed the memorial. The legal issues. So it's very important. Which what are the issues presented? And then we have the summary of the argument that provides a brief overview of the team's legal argument and the main point that will be addressed in the memorial. Remember, I'm telling you which part we have to follow step by step. But San Carlos, I'm telling you my experience, what I believe is the most important for you to learn. That what I'm doing really right now is that you learn the best way to make your understanding. And here I have a question here. Oh, speak louder. It's not good at all. One moment, please. Maybe because one moment, please. One moment, please. Sorry, I didn't see this. Let me see here my element. Let me take it off. Can you hear me better right now?
Yes, sir. You're clear.
I'm sorry, I didn't see your.
Yes, sir. You are loud and clear.
Yeah, great. So let me make it better here. And now, okay.
Yes, sir. Perfectly fine.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, and I beg your pardon because I didn't. I haven't seen your message because I was very focused here. No, let's go. Summary of argument. I told you, provide overview of the point that we addressed in the memorial. And now we have here the argument. This is the most important part. Is the main body of the memorial and is where the team presents its legal argument. Treats law, international law, in contradiction or in accordance with private law. The section is typically divided into two several subsections, each of which addresses a specific legal issue or argument. Review what you have been reading. Review talking to a friend. it's very important to really have a very good memorial. And the conclusion of the memorial provides a summary of the team's legal argument and the main point that have been presented in the memorial. Is your conclusion. I don't like it very much, this term conclusion. I prefer to say final consideration, because when I'm talking about law, when I'm talking about law, when I'm talking about understand the law, hermeneutics, interpretation, there is no conclusion, final consideration that it can. No, it's concluded for you or for me. So, but you write conclusion because it's typically used. And you have now the list of authorities, provide a comprehensive list of the legal authorities that the team has cited and support of the argument. It can be a history, it can be books, and so on. And many.
Sir, sorry for the interruption. Can we consider it as a bibliography?
Yes. Sometimes I remember that once I told a history in my argument. Let me tell you, the history is like this. A man was in the court to be judged for murder, and his lawyer said he's innocent, he's not guilty, and I'm going to prove you right now. Judge, I ask your permission, sir, to allow me to turn off all the lights inside this room and let just one light, and this one light on. And the judge said, what is for? Please, I'm asking you. Judge said, that's okay, I allow you. It was so dark, the place, and said, jury, there was the people there, all the people that are at that moment to jury to judge the man. I'm going to prove you right now that my client is not guilty. Because look at that door, please, everybody, look at that door with attention, with much attention. And you will see the man that people here in this place are telling that my client killed him, murdered him. He's going to cross that door in 1 minute. Please take a look, everybody. Take a look, please. In that moment, everybody was were focused, looking at the door. After 1 minute, nobody crossed the door. And all the lights were on, lights was on out. You see, judge, you see, jury, you are in doubt if my client is guilty or not guilty. All of you look straight to the door because you believe that the man who is suspected to be killed by my client would cross the door. And the lawyers and the judge said, yes, you're right. And he said, including you, your excellency, yes, you are right. But your client didn't look at the door. Do you know why? Because he's sure that he killed that man, and he's sure that the man will not cross that door. Sometimes we can tell a story to try to convince the people to believe in us. I used to say to my students, a lawyer, when he cannot convince, he has to find a way to put in doubt the decision. Is it ethic, Jean Carlos? Well, it's a legal instrument. I have to fight. I have to fight till the end for my client. That's what I think. I have to fight honestly, but fight till the end. And have many arguments that we attack. For example, the circumstances, arguments that you, for example, the ad hominem argument. I can attack the circumstance of a person indirectly, or I can attack directly the person, the man. Signature, the signature page includes the names and signature of all team members, as well as the date the memorial was submitted. Research, I told you before, research. We can look for competition rules and guidelines, hypothetical case materials, legal research databases, law school library, moot court, coach, we have many, practice rounds, practice. Online research is very important, and be really very to have attention to public speech. You have to speak clearly with the confidence. Do not demonstrate hesitation. Do not hesitate in any moment. Even though you are wrong, do not let people understand you are wrong. You are right all the time, even though you're wrong. And finally, etiquette. Etiquette. This is very important. Dress professionally, please. Look, all the time I'm here to having class with you all. I always dress like that. When I am in my informal moment, I dress informally. But if I am before a judge, I'm in a court. In a court, I dress professionally. Remember, you have to dress yourself the same way you would like to be viewed in the future. If you do not, you are to be a lawyer, dressed as a lawyer to impose respect. It's very important. This is fundamental. Addresses the judge respectfully. Your Honor, or Madam, Sir, just like this. Madam, Sir, be prepared and organized. And after all, use a polite language. Do not use slangs. Do not write with abbreviation. Write in a polite language. Use a polite language. Informal language, informal communication is for our daily life, out of our field of work, out of a courtroom. Point very important. Avoid interrupt others, because when you interrupt the other competitor, you can lose point. Listening actively listen to, actively. Stay calm and composed. Stay calm and composed. It's very important. Thank the judge. Thank the judge. Respect the decision of the judge. Respect the decision of the judge. It's very important. So remember, if you follow everything I told you right now, if you follow my words, I guess, and I'm quite sure you'll have a very good chance to succeed you have a very, very good chance to be the winner in your competition. This I'm guess about that. We are the final. I thank you all, especially my friend and my partner, Mr. Akshay Taredi. Thank you so much. And we are all here willing for the day. We are going to start our course on the international arbitration course. Thank you very much, Mr. Akshay Taredi. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mahabir, sign your name. Pradia Sharma. Your name is, for me, is a little bit difficult, as well as my name, Giancarlo Dalbianco. But by the time, I'm going to learn it, believe it. Akshay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Thank
you,
you
sir.
very much.
It was great. It was a great session, and we really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you very much. And if you need anything from me, you can ask to my partner, Mr. Akshay, and let's learn together. And believe we are about here to not miss out our course on arbitration, international arbitration. It will be very, very good. Believe it. And of course, you can have your dream come true, being as a certified international arbitrator. Believe it. Okay. Thank you. Have a good night for you, and for me, have a good day.
Okay, sir.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye, Akshay. Professora Catalina, thank you for coming. Bye bye.
Anyone has a doubt, they can ask.